Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. That is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And our broadcast 3D is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to, at this moment, announce the winner of our FijiWater.com sponsored promo, the April FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where all of you have had the opportunity, and you will continue to have the opportunity, to go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. The first 3 songs you hear at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time daily, you send the list of those 3 songs along with your email address, your name and your email address, because everyone's email address is not their name, but your name and email address, and you will be entered to have the opportunity to be selected to win a case of Fiji Water. We give away 1 case of Fiji Water per month. We will be doing that for the remainder of the year from FijiWater.com. And our winner for the month of April is Matt Young in Media, Pennsylvania. So, Matt, thank you for being tuned in at WKAPFaith.com. I will say last month we had a winner who was in South Carolina. This week we have one in Media, Pennsylvania, which is actually right in our backyard, for lack of a better term. It's in Media, Pennsylvania, which is, of course, across the PA line from where we're located in Wilmington, Delaware. But we thank you, Matt, for being a consistent listener. We will be shipping out a case of Fiji Water to you this week, as you have been selected as the winner of the FijiWater.com sponsored promo. 1 case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com. Now, for all of our listeners and viewers, it's a new month, so you all have the opportunity to go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. And when you go to WKAPFaith.com every day at 12 p.m. and or at 6 p.m., the first 3 songs you hear, you list those songs, text them along with your name and email address to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. You will have the opportunity to be selected. The more times you send in your text with the 3 songs, your name and email address, the more opportunities you have to be selected. But you will be, 1 person will be selected each month to receive a case of Fiji Water from FijiWater.com. Congratulations, Matt Young in Media, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to remind everyone that we are going to be, and haven't announced the date yet. Don't know the exact date yet, but we will be going to a 1-hour broadcast. You asked for it, you got it. We will be going on a 1-hour broadcast from 12 noon until 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Now, that will change up the format, obviously, for the FijiWater.com sponsored promo, but not by much. We're going to ask you, before you jump on the Daily Divine Direction broadcast at 12 noon, that you will go at 11:55. Pardon me. I misspoke, actually. 11:45 a.m. The first 3 songs you hear, starting at 11:45 a.m. or continue at 6 p.m. and you will text those songs. I misspoke because I only gave 5 minutes. You only have time to hear about 1.5 songs. So we moved the time to 11:45 a.m. You will listen to WKAPfaith.com. The first 3 songs you hear, you will list those songs, text them along with your name, email address to the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424, and you will be entered for the opportunity to be selected to win a case of Fiji Water from FijiWater.com. And then you're already on WKAPfaith.com. Just jump on at 12 o'clock for 3D, the Daily Divine Direction. We're going to keep things moving. We're going to continue to have fun with this. You all seem to be enjoying it, and we're thankful for the opportunity to connect you with our sponsor, Earth's Finest Water, FijiWater.com. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are 40 years old and you've been listening to the broadcast for some time, and you finally realize that you have never had a healthy relationship. You say you've never been married, you have no children, and you said you don't understand why you're not having the life that you would like to live. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say to you, because you said a few things in your communication, but I'm going to say this to you. You're going to have to throw out the script that you've been reading, the role you've been playing currently today. You're going to have to rewrite your own script. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to change the way that you have developed relationships in the past. You're going to have to, everything that you've been doing, you're going to have to throw that out. You're going to have to change that completely. You're going to have a whole different approach to dating. And so I'm going to encourage you to do this, because I've said this to our listeners and viewers before, and I'm really committed to this revelation of God. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. You're going to start by going back to your church. Now, you don't live in our area, but you still need to go back to church. And if you're not in a church that's not just teaching you how to die, but that's teaching you how to live, then that's a Bible-based church. You need to find some place that you can go and grow. Now, having said that, if your church is teaching you how to live, you just need to be back in the house of God. You've gotten away from the house of God during the pandemic. You started doing what everybody else is doing, but that's not new for you. You were doing that when you were going to church. The problem is you were looking for men outside of the church because of the men inside your church. You found them to be boring, for lack of a better term. You found them to be settled. You really didn't find them to be a good fit for you. Okay. But here's the problem. What you need is a man of God. And you have to develop that relationship. And you have to understand. So if it's not someone in your church, it can be someone outside of your church, but they still have to have the same quality. The primary quality for a good relationship with a man of God, a good man, is what's his relationship with the Lord? First and foremost. You know, we've allowed society to tell us things like, for example, you know, look at a man's relationship with his mother. No, all the man has to do is honor his mother. All mothers are not created equal. He might not have a good relationship with his mother because his mother might not be, she may not be a great example of what he needs in a wife. But that's beside the point. That's another topic for another day. What you need is someone who has a relationship with the Lord. They're hard to find, and that's why it's not your job to find him. It's his job to find you. You just have to make yourself available. And when someone asks you out, ask the questions. What your relationship, I don't want you to get ahead of yourself. First and foremost, ask them if they're going to take you out. Here's where the mistake comes in. Ask them to take you to their church and out to lunch. If they don't want to do that, they've eliminated themselves from the equation. And thank God for moving them out. Here's the thing you got to remember. If he says, I'll take you to my church and out to lunch, go. Ask him to do it 3 times, 3 consecutive Sundays. That'll take me into another communication, but there's the consistency. The consistency is he takes you to church every Sunday for 3 consecutive Sundays and out to lunch. Don't ask him to take you to the 5-star restaurant. See, this is where the water gets murky and muddy. Everyone wants to go to the finest restaurants. Everyone wants to go to, you know, the best roof parties and the best events and all of that. None of that means anything. None of that means anything at all. What you want him to do is take you to church so that you know what he's being fed. You want to see if he's in an environment that's conducive for building a family, a great quality of life with a foundation in Christ. That's got to be the primary goal, first and foremost. So when you go to lunch the first time, so now I'm going to let you all into some further dynamics about this revelation because this is real important. The first time you go to lunch, ask him, what's a 7-year plan? Talk about that. You know, what's his goal for the next 7 years? You know, certainly it should be to enhance his relationship with the Lord. Secondly, it should be to enhance his health and wellness, his career, all of those things. What do you have planned for the next 7 years? If he doesn't have a plan for himself for the next 7 years, you can't fit in his plan. Because he didn't even have a plan for him. And if he doesn't have a plan for himself, he can't have a plan for you. That's week number 1. Week number 2, what's your 14-year plan? Do you want to be married? Do you want to have children? You know, what's your family history like? All of that. And what's his midterm plan? Career, personally and professionally. That's week number 2. Week number 3, what's your 21-year plan? What's your long-term goals? If he can tell you all of that, you can then decide if you want to have a relationship with him moving forward. That will tell you everything that you need to know. In 3 weeks, the 4th week, you all can go out and do whatever you want to do to enjoy yourselves. But that comes much later. It's not the first thing on the agenda. And everyone wants to put the entertainment, the fun, the sports, all the sporting, the dating for sport, all of that is at the forefront. where are we going to travel? How are we going to hang out? Where are we going to hang out? How many parties are we going to hit? How many fine dining establishments can we hit in the next month? No, and none of that is going to build a great quality of life. But if you do things differently, rewrite the script, start doing things differently, you're going to find that you will no longer will you be 40 plus and alone, because someone is searching for a wife right now, and they're searching for you. Someone has been prepared for you. You just have to be prepared for them. And I can promise you, if you do those things, you'll be sending in a different communication a year from now. And to God be the glory. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, but before I do, I want to remind everyone that this segment of the broadcast is also brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area and you are in search of a Porsche, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the general manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the vehicle, the Porsche, that you desire to own. And if you currently own one and are just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams if you're in our area. PorscheDelaware.com. Mike Adams will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner vehicle to you, and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you will not date a man who does not make, he said, at least over $100,000 per year, and he has to be a homeowner. You said your family and your friends say your standards are too high, and you say, but you are at that level. You make over $100,000 a year. You're currently a homeowner. Okay, so real easy. Understand this. Your family and friends, what they're really saying is, don't eliminate everyone from the equation just because they don't meet the criteria you set. Think about it like this. Let's just say you say they got to make at least over $100,000 a year because you make over $100,000 a year. So basically what you're saying is you want a household income. The two of you come together, you want a household income of at least $200,000 a year. But what if it's 190? What if you make over $100,000 a year, or you actually make over? So let's say you make $120,000 a year, and let's say he makes 90. Do you eliminate him from the equation because he only makes $90,000 a year, but he's a homeowner? Maybe he's not a homeowner, a single-family homeowner. Maybe he owns a condo. Do you eliminate him from the equation because he doesn't meet the threshold, or are you just saying that's the threshold you set and established, knowing that you want someone who is at the same level that you're on? Now, what you've done is eliminated a huge segment of the population, but you also don't want someone who's 35 years old and still playing video games in his grandmother's basement who has no income. I get it. You want someone who has the same mentality. See, and this is what you got to change. Really, basically, all you got to do is change your language. If you want your family and friends to stop saying your standards are too high, your standards are not too high. You just have to know that what you're really saying is you want someone who's on the same thought process that you're on. And that's success. You know, I get it. Now, you did say you want them to be a homeowner. Well, they could own a condo. They might own a townhouse, depending on what area you're in. But the reality is, you just want someone who's driven. You want someone who's focused. You want someone who is seeking to make progress. Someone who is really building success. That's all you're saying. And I get it. You just got to change the language up, because if you're saying it to them, you may be saying it to other men who are approaching you. And when they hear that, that's a red flag for them. Because sometimes men may not be exactly at the level you want them to be on, but you may be missing a good man. But they may be heading in that direction. So what do? I said, what happens if they make $90,000 a year and they own a condo? What happens if they make $85,000 a year but they own a home? You gotta. There's always some variables. But then you gotta remember the people who are in the same financial bracket that you're in, the same home ownership bracket that you're in, they may be looking for something different. So not only have you already eliminated a segment of the population of men, but now you've got a segment of the population of men who may be eliminating you, which is the reason that you're still single. So you got to really understand, I don't think your standards are too high. You just got to understand your own standards. You got to understand that you can't eliminate someone because they don't make exactly, don't meet the bar that you set. Because, you know, if he's making $85,000 a year, or $90,000 a year, just because you're making a little more money than he's making doesn't mean he can't get there. He may be working towards that. The opportunity will present itself as long as he's driven and he's focused. But then you got to understand, once again, I'll say this, men that are making over $100,000 a year, they're looking for something, they may be looking for something different than what you have to offer. So now you're being eliminated from a whole segment of the population of men. So you've got to know that there are going to be variables. Don't dig your heels in the sand so deeply that you can't rise above the sand. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. We all need to be more effective and more efficient in business. And Comcast Business offers us the opportunity to do just that. So contact Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope. And receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle. The service you may have right now, you may be effective, but you could be more effective. The service that you have right now, telephone, internet, whatever the case may be, you may not be as efficient as you can possibly be without Comcast Business. So go to Comcast Business. What you want to do is contact Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope, and receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle. They will transfer your service over to Comcast Business and receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. And this segment is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And if you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. Now, as you all know, we are in the midst of a remainder of the year, a year long, FijiWater.com sponsored promo. It is for our U.S. listeners only at this time. We'll do something later for our international listeners and viewers, but right now it's for our listeners and viewers here in the U.S. So go to WKAPFaith.com. The first 3 songs you hear starting at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The first 3 songs you hear, list them along with your name, your email address, text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will have the opportunity to be selected to win a case of Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, from FijiWater.com. Our winner for the month of April is Matt Young in Media, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Matt. You will receive an order of FijiWater.com. 1 case of FijiWater.com that will be shipped out to you this week. Have a great day. And we're going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers before we wrap up today. You said you are on the 30-date rule. For a man to be considered a viable prospect, he has to take you out on 30 dates. Okay, you said, however, why you want to know why men are not consistent scheduling dates and then they drop off. Okay, so the problem is you're obviously new to the broadcast because you would know by now we have a whole different system of dating. You're on something, that you've heard in the world, in society. You're on a 30-day rule. How's that working for you? That's the question I always ask. You said men are inconsistent scheduling. They're not consistent scheduling dates, and then they drop off. Let me make sure you understand something. That is something that someone used as a talking point to allow you to go out on 30 dates. No man, unless he really, really finds himself attached to you and into you, is going to take you on 30 dates before he decides. Let me help you out with something. A man will know in three dates whether or not he wants to be in a relationship with you. And that's the reason that they are inconsistent and drop off. Men will know in 3 dates. They'll know by your attitude, your behavior, your character, and they will make a decision in 3 dates. Now you have the opportunity to do the same thing. But a man will know that. A real man, I'm not talking about boys who are just playing with toys. A real man will know in 3 dates whether or not he's interested in you. And that's one of the reasons we say, ask a man, if a man asks you out, ask him to take you to church and out to lunch 3 times, 3 Sundays consecutively. You'll know if he's consistent because he'll show up and have you go to church with him for three times and out to lunch. But the 30 date, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. And society will tell you to do it because it's fun. It sounds cute. The 30-date rule. Wherever you heard that from, I'm not sure. But here's the reality: all of these 30 days, 90 days, all of those talking points sound good, but they're not reality. They're not conducive for building a great quality of life. A man will know in 3 dates whether or not he wants to pursue a relationship with you. And no man's going to wine you and dine you for 30 days and be consistent and wait for you to decide whether or not he's a viable prospect. Not going to happen. There are exceptions to every rule, but that's not the rule. Not for men. Not for a real man. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water, A Taste of Paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his faith.